Always one of my favorite videos to do, and that is the best picks of round one. It was a super fun night one of the NFL draft, and I will be live again tonight for round 2 and 3, either on Twitch or YouTube. Haven't decided yet, but make sure to follow me on twitter.com/Bengal YouTube. I'll let you know which is which, where I'm going, and of course follow twitch.tv/Bengal. Link is down in the description in case that ends up being where I end up streaming. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop in to the best picks of round one. I'll briefly touch on Aiden Hutchinson. I thought it was a really good pick just because the Lions did what I view to be the smart thing, which is just taking the best guy there. And that's probably how a lot of teams viewed Aiden Hutchinson, just a super safe prospect who's going to be a good football player, who's not going to have the off-the-field stuff. Thought Aiden Hutchinson was at least worth talking about for a second. But with my Giants bias, as a Giants fan, of course I got to talk about Kayvon Thibodeaux at number 5. I thought he was one of the best players in the draft. He was the number 2 player for me behind Evan Neal, and you're going to see where this is going. So, of course, I think this is a fantastic pick for the Giants. This was like the consensus number 1 guy the entire year. There were a number of things that popped up that were talking about off the field issues or maturity, and would he be able to handle the New York spotlight playing in East Rutherford, New Jersey? And the Giants apparently were the ones that leaked that they had the worst interview of all time with him, so that maybe there was a chance he would end up getting here, and he did. I just can't tell you how much of a great value pick I think this is for the Giants, getting maybe the best player in the entire draft at number 5. Had to talk about it. And for that same reason, I had to talk about Evan Neal. I think it's amazing that this guy was not going to go number 1 overall. He has the elite size and athleticism, and he's got clean tape. He's experienced playing at both left tackle and right tackle, even has some guard flexibility as well. The fact that Evan Neal was available for the Giants at number 7, I think was absolutely amazing. Again, maybe the best player in the entire draft for me. He was the number 1 player. Incredible value. The fact that the Giants were able to stay put at 5 and 7 and get maybe the 2 best players in the entire draft, unbelievable for the Giants. For the first time in a long time, I'm really, really ecstatic about the way the first round has gone. I was really excited about Saquon Barkley, just seeing him tear it up in college, but it was way too early for a running back. Number 2 was way too early. Even spending a first-round pick on a running back with how replaceable those guys are and the injury concerns that that position has associated with it, just too early for running back. But I haven't really been this excited in a long time. And yes, the Giants had 2 top 10 picks. You got to hit on those picks. But in a year without very many blue chip prospects, the Giants may have gotten 2 of them. Yeah, I'm over the moon. I'll talk about the Giants for a little bit longer if I want to. Awesome picks for Big Blue. There are also a bunch of picks in this draft that I'm not talking about, at least for the moment. I'm doing a ranking every first round pick video, and some of these are so close in terms of how you rank them, right? But I thought Zion Johnson for the Chargers was a huge no-brainer pick at 17, maybe the best interior offensive lineman in the class, certainly at least the best guard. They got him at 17. They really had a huge hole at right guard they needed to fill, and that's what they did. They go out, they get their guy at 17. I thought it was just a really solid pick. I wanted to talk about something in this intermediate area, the teens, before we get into the 20s and beyond for the real value picks, and that's going to be Zion Johnson for me. Down into the 20s now, it's Trent McDuffie at 21. He was a top 10 player for me. I thought he was incredible. Absolutely loved Trent McDuffie. The only real knock on him is the arm length, and I think that's pretty much it. He can play boundary, he can play slot, he can play safety. Trent McDuffie profiles as just an all-around unbelievable DB with instincts, great quick feet, very agile, clean hips. He has everything that you'd want from a corner. Yes, the size and the arm length questions whether he can be really, truly effective on the outside. I believe that he will be able to. But at the very worst, you have a great slot corner that can also end up playing safety. This is a guy you can move around, find his best spot. And for the Chiefs, I imagine they're going to try and utilize him in a similar way to Tyrann Mathieu, who, of course, is no longer with the team. So, yes, Trent McDuffie, amazing value at 21. They had to move up to get him, but guess what? They got him. Unbelievable pick. He's someone, for me, that should have gone much earlier. Tyrann Mathieu, still a free agent, by the way. Going to be interesting to see where he ends up going. Jadeveon Clowney, still a free agent. There are a bunch of big free agents that we haven't seen them sign yet. It's going to be really interesting to see when and where they go. Probably after the draft. I don't see them staying around much longer after that. Wanted to talk about Tyler Linderbaum as well. Again, one of the top players in the entire draft. The only reason he fell is because he's a little bit undersized at center. And that's not only just weight. I know at his pro day he beefed up a little bit to about 305, which is kind of where you want to be playing, somewhere in that area above 300 pounds as opposed to his playing weight of 290. Still looked every bit as athletic. The short arms are a little bit of a concern. It's the same reason why Creed Humphrey dropped in the draft, but Tyler Linderbaum is a much better center prospect than Creed Humphrey was, and Creed Humphrey was arguably the best center in the entire league this past season. So for the Ravens, who desperately needed to upgrade center after the departure of Bradley Bozeman, they get Tyler Linderbaum at 25. Are you kidding me? This is great value. The Ravens killed the draft. Yes, they traded Hollywood Brown, and they ended up getting the number 23 pick as a result. They moved back to 25 and still got Tyler Linderbaum. Great selection for probably a top 10 player comfortably in this draft class. Finally, to pick number 26, the Jets got Jermaine Johnson. Oh my goodness, what a pick by the Jets. The Jets apparently viewed Jermaine Johnson as a top 8 player on their board. They viewed Garrett Wilson in that same range. And of course, they viewed Sauce Gardner in that same range. The fact that general manager Joe Douglas was able to stay patient and sit tight before moving back up to 26. We're not talking about a guy that could have gone as early as the Jets pick at 4, or the Falcons or Seahawks at 8 and 9, even the Jets at 10. They were able to land Jermaine Johnson, not in the teens, not in the early 20s, at 26. Yes, he is a little bit older, and there were a few things that you'd look for on tape that he didn't really showcase, which apparently the coaching staff at Florida State was telling him not to utilize these certain things. A little bit weird in terms of showing what you can really do as a pass rusher and as a prospect. But when he went to the Senior Bowl and was clearly the best player there, dominating one-on-ones, I have no doubt about Jermaine Johnson as a player. I thought he was much better than the 26th player in this draft. I thought he was a top 10 player in this draft. And the fact that the Jets were able to get him at 26 in the draft feels unbelievable. Really unbelievable. Great edge talent still on the board, but it was really Jermaine Johnson falling that let all these edge rushers slip way deeper into the draft. Like, if he goes inside the top 10, you might see Arnold Ebiketie or Boye Mafe go in the first round. You might see Logan Hall go round 1. You might see George Karlaftis go earlier than number 30. But getting Jermaine Johnson at 26 is the best value pick we've seen in the draft so far, and probably will be. A top 10 player at 26 is just, quite frankly, unheard of, especially considering he has no off-the-field issues, just is a little bit older. That's kind of it. Unbelievable pick by the Jets, who have killed the draft so far. And then the final pick I'll talk about is Dax Hill. I was really hoping he would fall to the Giants at the top of the second round. He is an unbelievable player that can play both slot corner and free safety. You can move him all around the field. He has incredible ability in both man and zone coverage. Great ball skills as well. I love Dax Hill as a player. I think this is eventually going to be their Jesse Bates replacement if they can't agree to a long-term extension. I do not believe that has happened at this time. And at the very worst, you have a slot corner that can compete to be a boundary corner as well. Now, it just depends what the Bengals want to do. He has all the athleticism in the world. He is such a talented player. And the fact that he was available at 31 is unbelievable. I know he was a player that we didn't know if he was going to go round 1 or not. But in terms of talent, that was not the question. It was just about how the league would value safety. We end up seeing a few of them go in round 1 in Kyle Hamilton at 14, Dax Hill at 31, Lewis Cine at 32. So that's kind of the value that you have on those guys. You might see Hamilton as a blue chipper, goes middle of the first round, whereas Dax Hill and Lewis Cine go at the back end. But Hill was as good as any safety prospect in this draft for me, and I'll tell you, he was my number 1 safety. I know that's going to be viewed as terrible with how much we've heard about Kyle Hamilton. You've heard me voice my Kyle Hamilton concerns. He's going to a great team, by the way, to develop him. Team that is really great at developing DBs. He gets to play strong safety with Marcus Williams playing over the top, rotating with Chuck Clark. I think Kyle Hamilton of the Ravens was a great selection for them because of the fit. But Dax Hill, the Bengals, how is he available at 31? It really just is unbelievable to me that that type of a talent can get to the back end of the first round where 30 other players were drafted ahead of him. Just seems crazy to me. Great pick by the Bengals, who are really looking to upgrade and get back to the Super Bowl in 2022. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. More videos to come. I'm ranking every single first round pick and also telling you guys about the best players not taken in round 1, available in round 2 and 3. Round 2 and 3 draft coverage tonight on either Twitch or YouTube. Again, follow the Twitter for that. So you know, twitter.com/Bengal YouTube, linked as always in the description. Subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already, especially if you made it to the end of this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
Taking it back to the house. Defensive joke. I'm laughing so loud. Speedbird's good.